And one of our members, Woodrow, who is a great man, spiritually, just, I don't know anybody else that would take people out on their boats, bring the bait, let them use their tackle, take them out to catch stripers, catfish, bass, whatever. And he catches fish. He does it legally. All the people that go on his boats have to have a life jacket and have to have a fishing license. But I am just tired of seeing people complain about people catching fish and taking them home for food. Lake Lanier has a very, very high population of stripers. I have seen, and this is no nonsense, I've seen more floating stripers that were dead that people weren't able to release properly because of the hot water temperatures and getting them back through the thermocline. I've seen more dead stripers in a week than I think Woody catches in a month and takes out. And the other thing with Woody is half the time he donates it to families that don't have food. If you are out fishing legally and you catch fish and you want to take them home to feed your family, please do it. You pay your license fee every year to fish. I would rather see people catching fish, taking them home, and feeding their family than putting them back in the lake and having them float. Yes, the birds will eat them. It's a cycle of life. But I would rather have people keep them and feed their families than have them floating and have one more dead fish in that lake. I don't even want to say it's an outlast, just the amount of people that complain about the fact that every time he's out on Lanier, he always has two or four stripers and a spotted bass. On Lake Lanier, you are allowed two stripers over 24 inches. It's either 22 or 24 inches. You are allowed two over that size. He never keeps the tiny ones. Bass, if they are not of legal size, he throws them back. I have been with him and caught dinks that we threw back, and they were fine. They went back to where they needed to go or back in the water. They did not float. They didn't resurface. But why is there such a complaint about people keeping fish? I see more people complaining about Woodrow keeping fish, and those same people will turn around and make comments like, I wouldn't eat a fish out of Lake Lanier. There's dead people in there. There was a cemetery at the bottom of that lake. There was a chicken truck that crashed, and now the catfish down by the dam are the size of Volkswagens. I've yet to catch a catfish in Lake Lanier that was the size of a Volkswagen. The biggest catfish I ever seen pulled out of Lake Lanier was a 34-pound flathead. Not even close to the size of a Volkswagen. Two, you go to any lake, whether it's man-made or natural, people die from accidents. Whether it's not wearing PFDs, drinking while boating, whatever. You're not going to sit there and tell me that because somebody died in the lake that tainted the water. Get over yourself. If you're not good enough to eat the fish in the lake, then don't comment about other people keeping it.
I want to piggyback on what you said about Woody, because I've been on his boat. And my daughter had the best time of her life on Woody's boat. And it was zero charge. There was no pressure. I mean, yes, it's Rednecks for Jesus, and people give him crap about that too. I'm just telling you, he does everything legally. There's no reason anyone should give someone like that, a fisherman like that, a man like that, any sort of trouble. And so I agree with you fully. Not often do I agree with Justin's piece.
Yeah, very, very few and far between. But Ryan,
right.
I met Woody last year. I was actually trying to get out on the lake, and he's like, hey, I got this free charter, and it was during COVID. So I don't know if you were with him when COVID was in full blast, but separate setups, like the front of the boat, back of the boat. Like he had nets on both sides, rods on both sides. Like he wanted to, keep by rules and regulations that were set out, more of the legal aspect. And I don't get it. This guy puts out, and I'm not going to say he puts, thousands of dollars a week out, but it's his boat. It's his gift, his motors. He gave me the one motor that was no good on his boat, or he wanted to upgrade to a different one. And I gave that to Alex to put on his boat. It runs Alex's boat. He didn't have to do that. He could have sold that thing for $300-400. had somebody go do a little bit of work, and they would have had a 20 horsepower outboard. Like, it irks the hell out of me that somebody, and I get people are not going to go on the biblical side with him, and that's fine. Everybody can have their opinions. Do I believe? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do I accept? Yes. Do I think he deserves any part of criticism whatsoever? No. Like, it's just ridiculous. I've had my kids on his boats, or on his boat. We didn't catch anything. We caught turtles all day, but you know what? My kids were happy as heck pulling turtles in. I, on the other hand, was getting annoyed with it, but you can't always get fish. And the guy hardly ever skunks. I think that's the bigger thing. Like, he don't have $1,000 sonars. He has a like $400 Lowrance triple shot that he uses. The guy catches fish, and he's old school because he uses that big paper map yet. I mean,
the one thing I go back to, and sorry to cut you off, is just why he fishes, you know, and he's represented on, you know, Lake Lanier very well, and Lake Oconee is his catfish lake. Lake Lanier is my home lake, and there's plenty of great people on Lake Lanier, and he's one of them for what he does and what he represents. And above anything, the man catches and keeps at a legal rate and provides for people who need to eat. There's no real argument in that. There's just not. You know, the floater issue is real. You know, this time of year, it's real bad on Lake Lanier. I remember as a kid, I ran over a dead striper on a jet ski in late July. I mean, they're everywhere. You've got to have your release mechanism, and you've got to get them through the thermocline. You just have to.
Yeah.
But Woody does a great job, and Justin, normally I don't agree with you. We'll let Terry get on if he's still here.
Terry
but I just wanted to say,
I think Terry was actually eating dinner with his family while watching it, so we'll let him eat. Not that I don't want to see his face, but I don't know what roadkill he's shoving down gullet here. So, Terry,
it's probably that snake that Hogan ran from.
Huh?
It's probably that snake that Hogan ran from.
The word is a good word is a message from our God. Gonna tell you all about how to get to the kingdom, the good life. Written in the word is a good word is a message from our God. Gonna tell you all about how to get to the kingdom, the good life. Oh, I love Jesus. La 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 la.